This is Tilted Podcast.
Oh, wow. Welcome. So this is going to be another little fun podcast we're going to have here. It's only going to be a short one, though. This is more about our what we like to do. Brad's going to explain it a little and better, but we like to make, these weird wagers with food items. But Brad will explain a little more in depth to what we're doing here. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Go ahead, Brad. Take it away.
Well, I mean, when we get to that section, we're what we like to do instead of, because I wouldn't consider us pros, right? And we wouldn't we wouldn't want to have any of you follow exactly what we say when we place these jelly beans on these games. So that's the way we're going to approach things. When we do put our games in for the week, proceed with caution. We're doing it for fun, right? We are only wagering jelly beans. That's what we are wagering. And so the goal is, right, have some fun, pick some games, and let's see, maybe at the end, maybe towards the end of the season, between the three of us, who ends up with more jelly beans.
So yeah, that's
It'll definitely be me.
collectively.
We'll see.
Collectively, Anthony looks like a jelly bean right now with that yellow ass T-shirt. So it's okay. I mean, supporting Michigan, I respect it, but they're the old champs that won't make it this year. Besides that, let's go ahead and jump right into the fact that
Let's get going.
we're going to absorb all these jelly beans, and I expect them a big bag at my house with all of them when I win it all.
Okay.
But
I love it.
we are going to have a running tally. We're going to try to do this weekly as best as possible. Can't guarantee every week. Brad's old, so God, I'm just in a
Always on Brad.
I'm in a
Always on Brad.
trashing mood tonight. CD Lamb, can we talk about that real quick before we jump into college? Big deal there, huh?
Big
Number-
money. Big
number
money.
number 2 highest paid wide receiver in football now. I feel like the
Yep,
tears
the
started
high-
running back up the eyes.
Yeah, the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, right behind Jefferson.
Yeah.
Just what we said last night. We said we pretty much called exactly what the deal was going to be. We knew that's exactly what it was going to take. It's nothing crazy. Surprised it took this long.
Yeah, I do agree. I think there's a little more into the depth of like trying to figure out what they're going to do next year. So, but it's Jerry Jones. You never know. I did hear a little birdie say that Dalvin Cook was flying into Dallas tonight. I don't know if you saw
It
that
won't
work.
matter.
I don't know if you saw that workout video, but my God, that is a specimen of a man. Holy Jesus, he is ripped. I don't know if he took the time off to, shoot it up, or I don't know, but man, that dude got huge. And let's be honest, I think their run game took a big hit this year by losing Pollard. But besides that, we could talk football all day. Let's go ahead and flop to Anthony, since I've already jumped onto his aggressiveness, and see what he feels of his. I guess what you say, you want to go upset or whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think we're really just going to highlight and look forward to week 1 of the college football season. We're less than a week away from that, and I think we're all getting pretty excited. Trying to block off this calendar. We got Colorado on Thursday, OU on Friday, then obviously the full slate on Sunday, LSU and USC on the full slate on Saturday. Then Sunday we have LSU, USC in Vegas. But really just want to highlight this upcoming weekend and what we're most excited about. Brad, what are you looking forward to the most?
You guys won't be surprised. I mean, I have to be the most. Yeah, it has to be the most exciting thing for me. I mean, 6 p.m. Bryant Denton Stadium. The Tide's taking on Western Kentucky, man, and I feel bad for them. But there's a lot of other things to be excited about. The biggest thing is college football is back, right? And that's priority number 1 for all of us. I mean, we all love college football, so. And then it just comes down to me, right? Making sure I'm in the seat, ready to go, right? I'm excited about, kind of seeing what it looks like with Jalen in the offense, and I promise you, you need to remember these 2 names offensively: Ryan Williams and Caleb Odom. Ryan Williams, this freshman phenom, is going to bring it, and I'm excited to see him in DeBoer's offense. I'm excited to see Jalen kind of be let loose. I mean, it's kind of it's a new age in Alabama football. It's kind of funny at the beginning of the year when they kind of got going. There was comments that there's more energy just to practice. There's actually music, right? I mean, that is kind of it just kind of shows that Nick was definitely old style, right? And so I think there's a new energy, And so I feel like the fan base feels the same, right? Defensively, I'm excited, right? Kane Womack, he was the head coach at South Florida, right? Came with us, took the D coordinator job to come be with DeBoer, right? He runs a different kind of defense, right? It's a 4-2-5 swarm defense. So I'm excited to see him bring that to Titletown, right? We've got some deep returners. I know that we lost some guys, but we were able to get some big time transfers in. In the backfield, we've got Damari Jackson from USC and King Mack from Penn State. Both those guys coming from proven programs. So hearing great things about them in spring camp. So I'm just excited for Saturday night. Obviously, I'm excited for the whole day, but Saturday night, Bryant Dennis Stadium, I'm ready to get it going. And I know you're going to feel just the same about Michigan,
Yeah, I
right?
was like,
We're all going to feel
you
just
can
the
almost
same.
take the words right out of your mouth. We got Michigan and Fresno State at Ann Arbor, the big house at 4:30 my time, obviously. So I'll be looking forward to that. I'll be tuned in, looking to see Alex Orji and Donnie Edwards take over. Fresno State's no slouch, a 9-win team last year. So obviously we got a couple of measuring sticks early, and really what this new offense and I mean, we have a brand new offensive line, brand new receiving core, brand new quarterback. The only person that looks similar is the tight end and the running back. And obviously Wink Martindale coming in defensive coordinator. So yeah, obviously a lot of change, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like on the Michigan side. But I'm also looking forward to Sunday night in Las Vegas, LSU and USC. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking for the scoreboard to be lit up there, and between that and Georgia, Clemson, those are the ones that are circled on my calendar for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I I know I live in Oklahoma now, and I just support the teams that are around me. Obviously, got family here that loves OU. OU softball is humongous in this household over here. At the end of the day, I'm just excited that football in general is back. I'm ready to see pads hit. I'm ready to see these kids play their hearts out for a chance at the future. I mean, we already started it off hot. A top 10 team falling immediately. Florida State just taking a knee shot. I mean, I've already seen the memes. Just they're already eliminated from the college playoffs. Like you just don't come into the game one of the year with a very top tier quarterback who's supposed to be a guy that should get drafted and go lose to Georgia Tech like that. That's just mind boggling. But it's damn college football, and I love every minute about it. Just talking
And
big.
let's not forget.
Hey, talking about that number, I think that Florida State had a 36% chance to make the playoffs before the game,
Yes.
and after they're like at 11 or 12%.
Well, and
Wow.
me and Anthony were talking about this. Let's jump back. Both of you in your predictions had them in your playoffs.
Well,
I'm
the
the
good
only
thing
one
is there's
that
a lot
didn't.
more games to go.
I'm the only one that didn't believe in them. I really do think they're doubter or they're fakes, man. I don't see a whole lot of it going their way this year. A lot harder conferences than it has ever been, and everybody thinks, oh, it's so much easier. 12 team, you can make. I just don't think it's easier. It's still you're still going to be to get there is going to be a hard road. It's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at Clemson, Georgia, top 25 teams playing against each other. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, LSU, USC. There's some big games this weekend to start it off right away. And yes, it won't affect losing to a top 25 team. It won't affect you as much getting into the playoffs, but it does hamper a little bit, But I will say the most excited thing I am for, I really am, is I do really want to see how Georgia's going to come out against Clemson. I mean, they're in my opinion, they're going to be the team to beat this year. They should be the team to win it all. It's just how I see how built they are with that coaching staff, with everything they've got. It's almost like if you don't win it here, like what are you doing wrong? Like where's the fault at? Like they have the best set program this year to win. Like if we just look at numbers, teams, roster, like coaching, I think we can all agree they should be the team to beat, like hands down. Now that doesn't mean an underdog can come in and make some upsets, but other than that, I'll pass. Brad? I want to hear who you think your biggest flop is going to be this week.
You know what? I mean, it's two different games that, I think the favorites are going to go down, but neither of them are big favorites. The A&M Notre Dame game still has me kind of perplexed. I just don't feel like A&M is going to be that good. They're favored by 3 over Notre Dame at home. You know, that stadium is insane, so that does give them a big advantage in the game. But I feel like Notre Dame goes in there and wins that game. The game that I'm focused the most on, you already talked about it, Anthony did too. USC. I feel like USC can beat LSU. LSU's favored by 4.5. It's kind of an interesting game because both quarterbacks have sat behind Heisman winning quarterbacks for years, right? LSU, Nussmeier, when he got his one start last year, 31 of 45, 395 yards, 3 touchdowns. When Moss got his one start for USC,
Wow.
23 of 33, 372 yards, 6 touchdowns.
I'll say what, 6 touchdowns? I remember that
Yeah,
game.
so I mean,
wild.
you've got 2 young, not young, but 2 quarterbacks that have been in the system where they've been for a while. They both decided not to transfer. They're both at big name programs. So I'm excited to see how that turns out, but I do expect USC to pull the upset off. And it might be that I'm, really wanting LSU to lose. But I'm feeling it. So that would be the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
Here's my only issue with your pick, and I don't disagree. I hope USC can show up in that defense. USC's got to go to Tiger Stadium. They've got to go to Louisiana and go play some hard knock football in a stadium that is known to be hard to play in. So they're up for a tough task. This is a hard one for USC, man. They've got a weird schedule. They've got to win these games to have a chance to make the playoffs. I think this is a game, if they lose, it's going to really put them in a bad spot to have a shot.
That game's on a neutral field, right, Anthony? That game's in Vegas, right?
Yeah. I was gonna. I didn't know if we were gonna bring that up.
That was my fault. I got confused.
It's at Allegiant Stadium. So if anything, although LSU travels, if anything, it might be more of a tick to USC. But yeah, it is neutral field in Allegiant Stadium on Sunday night. Looking forward to that one.
I forgot that got moved.
Yeah. My biggest game that every time I keep funneling through, and I was talking about our jelly bean bets, and I was trying to figure out a way of what to put together. I did not wager any beans on this one, but when I think of very important, very difficult places to play in college football, West Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah.
The West Virginia Mountaineers. That place is no joke. And Penn State, number 9 ranked Penn State's going in there week 1. That is not going to be easy. And I think it tells you everything you need to know in the spread. They're 9-point favorites, which really a top 10 team going against an unranked team in college football, 9 points is nothing. You see these 50-point spreads, 42.5-point spreads. So I'm picking West Virginia to pull the upset week 1 against Penn State. But I do there's something going on with that Notre Dame game, and I can't put my finger on it. The number's fishy. The spread's fishy. The fact that they're underdogs, they're a top 10 team. I understand A&M's ranked. But something smells about that one, and I don't know which direction it is.
I just think Notre Dame's defense is going to be very stout, very scary this year. It's funny. You mentioned that spread, Anthony. You got Penn State as a top 10 ranked team versus an unranked team. Look at Georgia versus Clemson. I mean, they're not what Georgia's 1 and Clemson's 14, and they've almost got a 12-point spread. Like, how is that even a thing? It's just. I don't disagree. I was scared to bet on that one, but if I had to go throw a couple beans on it, hey, that's a pretty good flop, man. It's a good underdog win right there if you could snag one.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be an incredibly tough environment. And James Franklin typically shows up in Happy Valley. Happy Valley is a crazy place to play, but they're not playing in Happy Valley. They're playing in West Virginia. And I have a couple of high school buddies that went to West Virginia, and those boys start partying early. And that place is going to be rocking, and that place is going to be loud. And I just don't. Penn State historically doesn't show up for big games and big road game. I think West Virginia gets the upset. So, we talked jelly beans now.
Yeah. I guess we'll just jump right into it. We'll go ahead and if Brad, you want to take this? You want Anthony? You want to take it first? Who wants it first?
Completely up to you.
All right,
Whoever
we'll
you put up, let's
we'll
roll
let
with it.
Brad throw his jelly beans away with this one. We'll fold over.
Well,
So explain
All
a
right.
little bit real quick, Brad, before we go into it.
So what we're gonna
I'll,
do?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what we're gonna do each episode, we're gonna kind of give ourselves 25 jelly beans to kind of wager. Right? You can wager it however you want. You want to do parlays, you want to do straight up bets. It's up to each of us, right? We're just trying to generate the most jelly beans by the end of the year. Right? So you can be a risk taker and you know bet a 5 volley parlay, right? And make a lot of money, right? There's that option, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, you could be somebody that, right? You could just pick one game and place your $25, right? I'll be honest, I was kind of struggling to come up with a couple parlays this week. I'm always nervous at the beginning of the year, not really knowing, right? Um, what some of these underdog teams look like, right? Transfer portal changes a lot of things. So, I was kind of leery. So, obviously I'm gonna live and die with Alabama. They got to cover 31. I feel like we'll cover 31. I feel like that's probably like a 48-10 game, 50-10 game, something like that. So, I'm willing to lay 15 jelly beans there, which will generate me right under 29 jelly beans. Um, I think that's a safe bet. I think that will at least cash to where I'll at least have the same money I started with, right? Moving forward. So that's good. Then I'm going to do a 2-leg parlay. Brent comes in at plus 257. I'm gonna give Miami. I feel like Miami will cover the 2.5 at Florida. It's a tough place to open up. But if Miami's gonna have the year that I expect them to have, they're gonna get it done. So I'm gonna get Miami covering the 2.5. The other leg of that 2-leg parlay is UTSA. UTSA is actually one of the favorites to win the AAC this year. They're one of the teams that potentially could be that fifth conference champion, potentially get in the playoffs. They got to cover 24 over Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State's one of the teams that's new to the FBS, right? So I expect a little bit of lumps to be there. It will be their first, real NC2A football game. So I'm gonna lay that $5 jelly bean bet will win me 1785, so right under 18. My other 2-leg parlay is a plus 264. Both these teams, I feel like they're just going to kind of win these games handily. Boise State is my team in the playoffs as the fifth conference champion. They are covering. I need them to cover 13 at Georgia Southern. Feel like that will happen, and I'm going to ride with Mr. Anthony here on this one. I'm going to go Michigan to cover 21.5. Fresno State's tough, but I do feel like in the big house, the energy that day, coming off the championship, I'm willing to lay 5 jelly beans to win me 18-22. So if I was to win those 3 jelly bean bets, I would end up at 64-71 for the week. So I'm not trying to do nothing crazy. I'm
That's
gonna
my
just try
job.
to slowly but surely build up. And you know what? We'll just see how it goes. Jelly beans, remember,
Jelly
for
beans.
fun. It's purely for fun.
I'll give you a disclaimer at the end of our jelly bean conversation. We'll go ahead and save the best for last. So, Anthony, you're up.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
fold it over here. Go ahead and look at these gorgeous bean wagers.
So I went. We talked about the Notre Dame game already, and I just when I look at that, I think obviously we have a top 10 team in the college football rankings. Getting plus 126, I think I'll just take that all day and not overthink it. So I put 10 jelly beans on that. I'm going over to my 3-leg parlay here. Several factors led me here. The first one being the Arizona Wildcats were 11 and they were 11-2 against the spread last year. Going up against a New Mexico Lobos team that just lost to North Dakota State. So I think that's a pretty easy cover. We got Georgia. We talked about it, the line being kind of goofy with that one. I definitely think they're 2 touchdowns better than Clemson. Clemson covered less than 50% last year as well. So I could see that being a 14-point game. And one of the stats that I thought was the most interesting was LSU and USC were a combined 23-4 last year on hitting their over. So I think it's safe to say Allegiant Stadium scoreboard is going to be lit up on Sunday night.
Yeah,
So
I
hit
can agree
on that. So 750 Jelly Beans on that one. And then very similar, I just think have high hopes for Miami this year, a lot of hype for Miami this year. It is a road game, but I mean, it's in the state of Florida, right? Their fans are going to travel. So it definitely will be a road atmosphere, but I think it won't be as bad as maybe, Penn State going into West Virginia. And then Ohio State, first of all, I think they're gonna boat race these dudes. I think their backups will be in by halftime, and they are 3-10 on hitting their over last year. I think that says every makings of a 49-0 ball game, 42-0, something like that. And then they got their backups in, and we're coasting. So I'm gonna hit the under on 57.5 for that.
Did you say butt roast?
Boat race.
I heard butt roast. Just almost as
Of
good
course
as
you did.
Of
almost
course
as
you did,
good
Horton.
as your
Of course you did.
almost as good as your
Neither of
spelling,
us are shocked that that's what Horton heard.
almost as good as your spelling error on Ohio for Ojito. Ojito
Oh,
State
Lord.
versus Arkansas.
Because I can't. My fingers won't allow me to type Ohio. I can't do it.
Oh man.
I can't do it, but-
I do like a lot of the stuff you talked about. These are some good wagers. Now, they went the safe route, guys. I will say, remember, gambling, you're gonna lose. No matter what you think, like, you're not gonna win. Just we all want to let everybody know we're not rich. We're not making loads of money by doing anything like this. That's why we're gambling jelly beans. We're not doing anything
we're
else.
not gambling, Tyler.
This
We're
is not real money.
these
Well,
are
I'm letting
jelly
everybody
beans.
else know that wants to try to use this as real
Yeah.
money. Don't be careful because you'll probably
No.
lose.
This is purely for fun.
So I
I
went
want to
the-
collect red and little green and little pink jelly beans.
So I went the other route. These guys went safe. I don't play it safe. I always go big, and they know this. I went 5-leg parlay, which is going to give me a 2,386 plus. I am agreeing with everybody here. Georgia, I just do see Georgia covering. It might even be a 21 plus point game for them. Georgia's going to come out showing everybody why they're the big dog, and to keep that spot. Now, this is a weird one. For USC and LSU, right? Like we kind of conversated on it a little bit, but I want USC to be good. I really do. But my problem is USC has lost the last 10 of its 11 AP ranked games. 10 out of their 11. So the last 11 teams they played, they've lost 10 of them. That's pretty big. They failed to cover the spread. 10 of the 11 played in a neutral zone. So they're not at home, and nor they're not away. They're in a neutral, so it's going to be, we'll see. And also in the last 8 games for LSU, the favorite has won. So if it was them or if it was somebody else, the favorite has won in their last 8. So I do take LSU over here as
I agree. I just want them to lose, Tyler.
I know, man. I
God.
I see LSU taking this one, unfortunately.
I don't give a shit. I just want it to be 42-39. Score those points. I don't give a shit who wins. Actually, I guess I prefer LSU to win now that USC's in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
I gotta
right.
get
That's
used to
true.
that.
That's true. The Syracuse,
Go Tigers.
I do take Syracuse covering here over Ohio. It's Syracuse has won 9 of their last 10 of season openers. Ohio has lost 3 of their last 4 season openers. And it's just kind of a weird game, right? This is just one of those filler games, I feel. I just think that Syracuse is just a little bit a better team. This is the big one, boys.
Didn't the Buckeyes quarterback go over there? Or isn't he the Syracuse quarterback now? The guy from last year?
Oh, I think so. I do think they had
Yeah.
a good transfer come over there.
He wasn't bad.
there's-
He was their scapegoat.
Yeah,
Whatever.
There's some high hopes over there. But the big one, which I don't think any of you agree with, I do have OU covering the 43 points over Temple.
I can see it.
I don't
Now-
disagree with you. It's such a
It's a
big
lot.
number.
Well,
Like I'm
I'm going to remind you something.
their backups can be in by the third.
Do that, Harden. Let's
I'm gonna
go.
remind you something.
us.
Remind me. Go ahead.
I went to a game last year, September 2nd.
Uh-huh.
It was at Sooner Stadium when they beat the living shit out of Arkansas State 73-0. OU is known for their season opener to be a smash mouth, we are better than you kind of game. They go out there and they just let the ball fly. They just, right? Like, okay, here's something for you to think about. OU has won each of the last 15 the last 15 games they've won against non-conference teams Memorial Stadium. Temple has lost the last 14 road games they've played, and Temple has also failed to cover its last 8 season openers. So it's just that, man,
That's a lot of jelly beans, brother.
these kind of games, man,
Do
they kind of make me. I don't like them. Like, this doesn't help OU, in my opinion. This is just like, we're just gonna beat the shit out of a team. Let's boost our confidence a little bit, get our backups in there. It's just kind of like a scratch off the, like a practice game. Is how I see it. Now the Notre Dame one, man, I don't know. The only thing I'm living on is the fact that Notre Dame is always in the top 5 to top 10 defensive team every year. They just always have such good defensive players, a good defense. Right now, I think I looked up, I don't know how true it is, but right now they've got Notre Dame ranked as like the 3rd best defense in college at this moment. Unfortunately, Michigan is still number 1 somehow. Who knows? But Notre Dame, I think they're going to go show everybody why they belong and really dominate themselves. And with all that being 25 straight for this, give me God, look at that. 620 jelly beans coming my way. Feel it. I feel it.
It's a lot of jelly beans, man.
It's a whole lot of jelly beans.
Wow.
Oh,
Well,
man. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see at the end of this, like, who has the most jelly beans.
So try to put some feelers out first, build a little bankroll of the beans and then go full throttle.
So are we doing this where, we'll just throw it on the air. I didn't really conversate it. Are we going to every week get only 25, or are we, whatever we win,
that's
we
something
get the wager?
I think we need to think about. Like,
Well, I think we
started
need to be
with
able to carry
25
our money
beats.
forward.
Yeah, I want to carry my 620 because
We need to be able to carry our money forward, right? Like, he needs to be able to gamble on what he won.
I think
so
too.
I'm gonna bet all
Yeah.
625
our
next
jelly
week
beans
as well.
carry forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need him because if he happens to get a golden horseshoe shoved up his ass and win this week, then he's gonna have to lose it all the next week. Or
Yeah,
That
exactly.
way you
Yeah,
give him a
yeah.
chance. I know that's how it works.
Yeah,
He'll have a 300
yeah.
bean parlay
I
the
never
next week.
I
that'll
never
flop, so.
don't go all in,
I love it.
I do want to, all jokes aside, make sure everybody knows, like, no matter what, gambling, man, you're going to lose. Just don't forget that. We're not here enticing you to go bet real money. We're not asking you to bet real money. We're not saying we know what we're talking about. We are purely looking at numbers online and making our best guess opinion on what we feel. Just remember that we're not professionals. Please do not rely on us to make you money because we ain't going to make you money. But other than that, always a pleasure with you guys. Excited,
It was fun, man.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Excited. I'm excited to see the heartbreak this week and who falls. Who falls first? Florida State.
Happy
Thank you.
Week 1 of college football. Happy week 1.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're going to jump off here and we'll see you next week.
Roll Tide.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope you join us again. If you could, please give us a like, subscribe, or follow at any of these social medias right here. And if you have any questions or concerns or something you want to discuss, please send us an email at tiltedpodcast24@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day.